Welcome back to the Frith Guild podcast. I'm your host, Eric. And today we're going over chapters 36 through 40 of Deathlord Arcanus. Before we get into today's episode, I always like to ask everybody to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff for us, if you could, so that we can know that we're doing a good job. I do also want to make mention that the Frith Chronicles Wiki link is in the description down below, along with the link to the Capital Station Discord server. You want to go over there and join in on the conversation there. And with that, we'll get into today's episode with chapter 36, The Real Marriage. For joy, we have Valo hop across in the inn. Damn it. Can't get away from that guy, at least. So Gray does not want to give Valo any kind of respect, but Papa D does kind of give him some schooling on some respect. Like, hey, look, you just, you don't want to, but you got to do it because it's going to reflect on you, essentially. Just a tiny bit. You don't have to be like all pompous and like frills and indubitably or anything like that, but just a little bit. Deimos does point out that one of Gray's weaknesses is pettiness, and I wholly and totally going to die because I was being petty with something or someone. It's gonna happen. That's how I'm gonna die.
From cancer.
Right. And if Gray would ever listen to Deimos, maybe Valo wouldn't be there to begin with. Now, we are trying to explain what happened. Not only like they didn't elope or anything of that crap, that nature, but that they went to the Hells, and then what will happen if it doesn't get corrected. I love that Twain gives us this little like, meow, that's right. And I did see somewhere that Shammy confirmed this is intentionally a nod to Team Rocket's meow.
Yes, it's so much fun. You just...
Again, tip the hat to you, Shammy, making these very subtle but awesome references. Gray defends his woman from her father. He steps up, does his macho-ness, and Deimos is very quick to rescind his comment about respect and just jumps straight to killing again. And I like this. This is a pretty solid plan. Gray declares that he wants to be with Ashlynn and gives this like super heartfelt like speech. It's not really a long speech, just a few sentences, but one of those things that there's no way in hells, the abyssal hells, that Gray just came out of this off the top of his head. We'll give Papa D a little bit of credit there on that one. But after he declares his love to Ashlynn, her mother and brother walk in.
Chapter 37 is a real test. Ashlynn's mother is an arcanist. She's also an artificer. And she doesn't really think Ashlynn is mentally ready to be married. It feels kind of rude to say to your daughter's face, like, you're mentally struggling a little bit.
Especially because she's an adult.
Yeah. And she was going to marry anyway. So this is not like... This isn't like, oh, you're making a crazy decision. It's like, just want to marry someone else. Ashlynn's brother is... surprise, also a Typhoon Dragon Arcanist. It just runs in the family, I guess. But they are very concerned with these rumors that they ran off in a float. So Gray is like, we didn't do that, but I'll prove it to you. How about I prove my prowess in battle and let's have a duel. And because I'm so good and awesome, it's going to be 2-on-1. So Mr. Daddy Ashlynn and Ashlynn brother, whose name is like Evander, I believe. I don't actually like to call him that because I think it's kind of a weird name. But Papa Ashlynn and Brother Ashlynn is 2-on-1 versus Gray.
In chapter 38, a real fight picks up with Papa Cross taking his shirt off, showing the muscles. And he's essentially decked out, whole body covered in runes, which, again, I love these things. I want them. Anytime they mention the runes, I don't care. I want them. Papa Cross cut his teeth off of using a glaive, and of course Gray has to ask Deimos, hey, do you know how to use a glaive? And Deimos is like, yeah, I do. Like, that's the most basic weapon. Every infantryman knows how to use this. It's essentially a polearm with a sword. And it is now Evander's turn to... One of the cool things with Gray is he basically uses Vivi to change into whatever weapon it is that he's going to be fighting against. So he uses Vivi to turn into a glaive, and he ends up cutting Papa Cross. And now it is Evander's turn to test Gray with a two-handed sword. And he's so fancy. He's trained with 3 masters and has bested them all. Dude, bud. Now, Papa D is starting to kind of feel kind of crappy. We're starting to lose consciousness here, so we gotta have to be a little bit more careful. And as Deimos is being attacked by Zuandi, like, this is what we really needed to go be dealing with right this second. Gray ends up basically going into Deimos's body and starts working towards Chicken later. Gray basically wants to end this fight as quickly as humanly possible so that he can be done with it and he can help Deimos with whatever it is Deimos has got going on. So he challenges Brother Ashlynn, Father Ashlynn, and I'm not even going to call him Betrothed Ashlynn. Like, no, Valo. He's just Valo. And Valo to go at him all at once. And if they hit him, any of them hit him twice or combined twice, then he is defeated, quote unquote. And if he hits any 3 of them twice, so he has to hit Brother, Father, and Valo twice each to consider them being down. And that basically who's the strongest will be remaining standing.
Chapter 39, a winning strategy. First off, because a bunch of Typhoon Arcanists, we're also going to be a Typhoon Arcanist. We got to be able to absorb lightning, which is the first thing they go. They actually have this cool trick where they go after the weapon and zap it with lightning in the hopes that it zaps you and then you drop the weapon. Deimos is trying to get this over with as quickly as possible, so he goes, my go-to weapon, a whip. This is pretty cool and is effective, but we do find out what the Archduke's runes are. They are actually fire. So he's got the best of lightning and fire, which is a deadly combo. Gray is able to steal Minerva Owl Wind Evocation to do this. We're able to eliminate the brother, but Gray does end up getting hit by this explosion of flame. So Gray, we get to see our favorite Enigma in action. He uses it to sneak up behind Papa Cross. Papa Cross gets real pissed at this move, by the way. Go hide in another dimension. He's probably never seen an Enigma Arcanist. But Gray does come out victorious. So Ashlynn says, yay, let's go get married now.
Yay.
Daddy Cross is not happy about this and is pretty angry, does not really want to accept that they're going to get married, but he did lose, so gotta stand by his honor on that one. And now we finally get a chance, now that we were able to deal with them, to figure out what's going on with Deimos, so we gotta go and help him out.
I want to say with Ashlynn brother and Ashlynn father, that is a really cool idea of using their lightning to attack the weapon versus the person. And all it reminds me of is Breath of the Wild and having any kind of metallic object while you're in the middle of a thunderstorm.
And just dropping everywhere. It's so annoying.
Run away! Although I have used that to my advantage a couple of times where I've thrown the weapon at an enemy and it's gotten the enemy, so.
There you go. See, you gotta learn the tricks.
And in chapter 40, Reverse Help, Gray ends up taking control over Deimos's body so that D can rest. He is in the middle of the sands here, and we see Phoenix Dragon coming after D at the worst opportune time. Gray is surprised that Deimos is so concerned to find Ninny, and that we are also seeing a spiral, a column. I can't remember what exactly it was called, but it is something of relevance later on, and I'm horribly, terribly upset that I can't remember the name of it, but to find out its importance later. Gray does end up getting Deimos into the Requiem, or the castle there, so he can be safe. He's in, he is in the safe zone, no puppy dogging or puppy guarding. Yeah. Gray ends up waking up, and he has a woman sitting next to him, and he sees this man bursting in, and he's got coppery hair and coppery stubble, and he comes bursting to the infirmary because he heard that there is a Mimic Arcanist in town. And I feel like he's very disappointed, which we all know why, at least soon. So I don't blame him, but we also find out the woman sitting next to Gray in the infirmary is Raaza's mother, and that she is doing extremely well now that she is far away from the Waxing City. And it makes you wonder what it was she was inflicted with in order to not be able to heal or be able to recover like that while she was in the Waxing City.
Like, she, like, the flu, and Lord Otto's like, hey, you gotta take this to get you better. And this just also kind of makes you sick, and I'm just gonna keep giving it to you because you're sick, but it keeps making you sick. Like, one of those circles.
Like alternating the formulas, so that way she doesn't actually die, but she's close.
Yeah, she's always close and always needs medicine that always keeps her close.
And with that ends chapter 40 and this week's sections of chapters 36 through 40. Next week we'll pick back up on chapters 41 through 45. And Scott, do you have anything else you'd like to add today?
No, we are approaching, next week will be the end of the book.
So excited. And again, as we're recording this, we have bestiaries coming out soon, so hopefully by then we will have the Source of the Storm bestiary or no more and be able to talk about it later on. With that, we will thank you and catch you guys next week.